You mentioned that you were working with people in person. Did that happen right away at the beginning of the internship program, or did that come a little bit later?
No, it was the whole process actually. But back then, and this is again before pandemic and everything, so everything is by default in person back then. Even back then, the chapel team was somewhat distributed, and luckily, my mentor Michael was in the same area as I was living. So I spent 1 week with him, like in an office, in a round table setting, just our laptops, and we are coding, and I can just turn to him and ask my questions. So it was like really kind of close or intimate mentor-mentee relationship. At least in the beginning of an internship, that was really key to me. Like it can kickstart a lot of things, right? Not even a cubicle. We are just in a table for a week, 9 to 5-ish. We can just communicate, right? So I'm sure I had like asked hundreds of questions to Michael back then, and he patiently answered them, and that got me started in my internship and probably my open source contributor journey in Chapel. I don't want to just say it was just Michael. Of course, that continued on when I moved to Seattle for the rest of my internship to work with the rest of the Chapel team in person. But still, like that was a really good and strong start for many things for me.
I mean, it sounds like that you kind of got a little bit of a once in a lifetime opportunity, because especially after the pandemic, doing things in person is a little bit harder, and most open source project internship programs that I'm aware of, it's still usually happening mostly online. So the fact that you were able to sit together with these people, I think it's amazing. Although I do know about University of California, Santa Cruz, Emily Lovell has a program, for example, where the interns aren't sitting together with the maintainers of the open source projects, but the interns are together for a big chunk of the program and sit themselves together and work on things together. So that is also something that is out there, which still helps people to overcome some of those fears and challenges that we also talked about earlier. So when you started your internship program and going and sitting down at that desk, do you remember if you still felt a little intimidated and scared, or the fact that you knew that you will be there with someone in person and be able to talk about the project that just took it all away?
I believe it's more the latter. I'm sure I was intimidated in the beginning, but I don't remember any of those moments. So it must have been a really short period for me to, okay, let's just work together. So it was a really like this is kind of ironic. Like I spent years in the community, kind of like as a silent user as the first step, and just that initial experience of maybe just hours of working together and communicating together, and that kind of lowered the barriers way more than all years of being a silent user, essentially. So that was how impactful it was to me.
You obviously had the opportunity to work with the chapel community more in person throughout the entire internship. But do you think if you only had like a few hours or a couple of days, that would still have been enough to be able to start participate in the community online?
I would like to say so. Maybe not by equal amount. I mean, this is all a spectrum, right? Like how much you open up and how much you contribute and how much you consider yourself to be part of the community. So, of course, being an intern and being intimately within the community for 3 months is different than just sitting together in a desk for a day. But at the same time, I think it's safe to say, or in retrospect, like maybe sitting at a desk for a day or two is like 90% of the road in terms of like being completely integrated with the community, if you will. So you will have to spend some more time on your own, or it will take some more intimidation, maybe a little bit nervousness after that to lower the last 10% of the barrier. But still, I think it's it's not a linear progression, right? Like it's not like every day it's a little bit better. Just suddenly you just get the hang of it, and you become part of the community, I think.
So is that how that felt for you since you were able to interact with people in person? You said that the team was a little bit distributed even back then, but it sounds like that once you had this in-person mentor-mentee relationship and sessions, it sounds like that you didn't really have any challenges afterwards to interact with the community in any format.
Not really, no. I think that initial barrier was a big thing for me. I don't think, like, of course, being in person always helps. Like, we try to be in person. Even after that, as a team, as a community, we try to, meet at conferences, have our own conferences and things like that. So being in person still helps after all these years. I cannot say that everything is 100% fine just online. But yeah, initial meetings, getting started on a project or getting started to know a community and things like that. I think there's still a lot of value to be gained for like short in-person times, even in my opinion.